Hello. So the first thing we need to do is look up our words. So for this example here, I'm going to do verdant. And verdant is an adjective. It has three definitions. Green with vegetation, growing with plants or grass, a verdant oasis, kind of lush. Green, green is the color green is like verdant. And it also has this other kind of negative connotation of inexperienced, unsophisticated, verdant college freshman. So like new, unfamiliar, lots of growth and green. Those are the things in my head. So I collected some imagery, which is over here. So I got a twig. The things I'm going to combine are this lush landscape, this like fawn kind of creature, and a twig. It's so full of growth that it's half plant, half animal. As for getting assets, I got the deer from this collection here, which is awesome. And there's kind of two. I kind of went with this one because it looks like a little bit more like timid and afraid and unsophisticated. And so what you do, you right click on it and say save image as. And you want to collect this in wherever you're working. So, for example, here's all the courses that are going on this semester. Here is Perpetual Play, Project 1, and I'm going to share all this with you. So I made a little links folder and my little hybrid demo, and I'm saving it in there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is start opening each of these. Actually, you know what? Let's make a new Photoshop file. So to do that, I'm going to hit Command, Spacebar, start typing. All right, so regular old Photoshop. Okay, new file. I'm looking for a well, none of these really. Looking for 1080. So I do RGB background. We'll do transparent and create. All right, so then we're going to start opening the assets that I downloaded. So here's the background. So I'm going to grab this, drag it over there, and I'm going to right click on this and convert it to a smart object. And what that does is that lets me manipulate this image in a way that doesn't screw up the pixels. It's non-destructive. So let me show you what I mean. So let's say let's bring it in again. And I don't make it a smart object. Let's say I make it small. And then I make it big again. You see how it's all pixelated and blurry? And that's because when I scaled it down, it saved those pixels and threw away the others. And then when I blew it up again, it was working from those pictures. Whereas if I make it a smart object, which I did in this other image, it still preserves its original fidelity. It still goes back to that original image. In fact, if I double click on this, it goes back to the original source pixels. All right, so let's see. My eye is kind of going to this part of the frame, so I'm going to flip it horizontally. That's kind of my focal point right here. And let's grab some of the other stuff. So all right, we're going to grab deer. Open. Thing, move it, drag it over, convert it into smart object. All right, so we can see here that there's no opacity for our creature here, so we're going to need to mask it out. There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's like a new AI-based way to do it that I'll show you in a bit, but it's good to know the way to do it manually, therefore, so that if it doesn't give you the results you want, you can always kind of have control over things. Okay, so how this works. So I went into the original object. I'm going to make a mask by clicking this button here. And how this works is white multiplies the opacity in this image by 1. So it stays opaque, and black, if I invert it here, turns it into transparent, right? And gray, or any in-between shades, will be in-between opacity. So what I could do is I could go over here, and with the mask selected, I could grab a brush, and I could paint my mask out. And sometimes if you're doing fine details or a quick thing, this can actually be a decent way to work. Right now my brush is teeny tiny. If I want to adjust it, I can hold down Control-Alt and drag on my trackpad. Left and right controls the diameter. Up and down controls the softness. Another way to change the size of your brush is with the bracket keys. Right, so I can do bigger at once. All right, that's one. So I'm going to hit X to switch it back to white, and I'll just paint it all back. So that's one possibility. Another way to do this is to use the magnetic lasso tool. And what that does is as you drag around an object, let's go back to our main layer. It'll try to find the edge for you. And so what you can do is you can just trace around this object here. All right, it'll just double click to close it. And so that's made a selection now. You can tell because there's these, what they call marching ants. And now I can grab my paint bucket over here, or hit G, and fill it with black. And now that, whoops, sorry, I'm on the wrong layer. Fill this with black. And then that will mask it out. And what I actually want is the reverse. So deselect it, and I see now I'm painting out the deer. All right, another way to do this, which used to be the most automated way before AI, is to select by a color. So you go select, color range, and right now I want to get rid of all the white, so I'm clicking the white, and what this is doing is it's letting me preview the mask. The fuzziness is how far beyond the color you selected do you want to go, right? And so basically it's starting to get more and more of it. You can also add colors to your selection if you want. Let's do that. All right, and then I hit, and now there's my selection again. And if I go back over here, fill it with black, there's my mask. All right, so to refine this, it can be really handy to throw a new layer in the background. So we'll do new fill layer, solid color, and something really hard to miss. So let's pick like a really kind of obnoxious magenta and throw it down there. And now when we do that, we can see some of the things that the color range missed, right? So there's like, it found some white in the horns and under here. So now what we can do is we can grab our brush, hitting B for a brush, make it a little bigger. And I'll make it white. So if you hit D, it resets this to black and white, and X swaps. And I can paint back in the things that accidentally deleted. And you know, what's cool about this is it's non-destructive, right? I can keep refining my mask. I can change it. So I made a little mistake there. I can just paint that out, add to it, and whatnot. I can also, if we see these little floaty things, get rid of stuff. So if I make this black, see, I can get rid, just paint it right out there. All right, not too bad. Let's get a little more. All right, so another thing I'm noticing here is there's this weird halo around everything. So to fix that, I right-click on my mask and I say Selected Mask. I like to do Overlay, and we'll set the opacity to 1, so you can really see it. And then we're going to do Smart Radius Edge Detection. We'll make that a 1. And you see what that did is it kind of creeped in and smoothed everything out just a little bit. What else? Maybe we'll smooth this a little, increase the contrast a bit, and you'll see that starts to sharpen up that edge a little. Feather. And that's, you know, not too bad. I'll turn this off, and then I'm going to close it, save it, and now it's masked. All right, what else do we need? We also need the horns. So the antlers made out of twigs, so let's grab those. Oh, and this one's great. It already has an alpha on it. Lovely. So I'm just gonna stick that over there. Convert to a smart object. Scale it down. Okay. So let's see, what else? I don't really like the shape of this. It's still too twig-like. I kind of want it to come out of this horn over here and then kind of be a little bit more of an S shape. So to do that, I'm going to go Edit, Transform, Warp. And what this will let me do is I can kind of go in and tweak the shape of this a bit. And I could keep noodling away on this. It's kind of fun. All right. And once again, if I go in here, there's my original branch. All right, I want to feather in this bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over here, make a layer mask, and I'll grab gradient tool. It's white to black. I will just drag feather it in a little. Close. There we go. And then I will make a copy. Get to there. Edit. Flip it. Not crazy about that. Well, maybe we'll paint. We'll paint some of those out. So go over here. There we go. All right, so this is way too big. I'm going to kind of put it back there somewhere, and I could, move the creature, but I want the horns to come with it. So what I want to do is grab all this and then link it together. So now they'll all be altered at once. We'll put it over here somewhere. And see, these masks, they're going to kind of show us where this object is in space, right? So if I want to kind of hide the feet and put it behind this branch, what I could do is group it and then make a mask for the whole group. And then I can just paint this right in there. For a second. Now for this, when I move the, well, actually I could just move these, but if I didn't want this to move with the group, I could turn off this link. So let's say something like that. All right, let's say something like that. Now, if I wanted to do the mask with AI, what I would do is first, you got to download Photoshop Beta, and so you go over here to Beta Apps, and then they have these other kind of advanced versions that have features that aren't there yet. So Beta, you can install it and then open it. And we're going to open our existing file. I think I moved it over here. All right, so let's go into our critter for a second. And I'm going to delete the mask, make a copy, delete the layer mask. And now I'm just going to click this button, remove background. And then it's done. Right, and it's pretty good. So, welcome to the future. And close, save, and it's even better.